My name's Lanny Steckel. I am a member of the Wayne County Genealogy Society, and they are very helpful if you're looking for information and about your family or other families and things like that. I'm going to talk tonight about a pocket watch that my grandfather had, and he grew up in Wayne County. The Franks family has been in Wayne County since the 1700s. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. My mom gave me this watch when I was in my 30s. The only thing that I know for sure is that it belonged to my grandfather. And why would a farmer have a watch like that? It kind of made me curious. So with my wife's help, I went down a rabbit hole to find out stuff, and all this other stuff started coming up. But I had to focus on that watch. I only knew him as a farmer in Atwater in Portage County. And most Sundays, my family and the rest of our families, my mom's 5 brothers and her sisters, we'd gather at their house. My grandmother would make cake. We'd all put it in bowls, and then you pour milk over it. And we still do that to this day when we get together for reunions. Now, he would sit in his favorite chair in the living room and watch TV. He would talk to you some, but he watched TV. Now, if we could talk, unless Gunsmoke was on. If Gunsmoke was on, everybody had to be quiet or you left the house. So I tried to reconstruct his life as well as I could to figure out about this watch. William Walter Franks was born in Worcester in 1890, the 4th of 9 children to William Waits Franks II and Sarah Conley. Both of them are buried in the Worcester Cemetery. Now, the 1900 Akron City Directory lists an older brother living in Akron at the time, and my grandfather was still in Wayne County, possibly Apple Creek. In 1910, he's shown on the census, living in Akron now, with 2 sisters and a boarder at 138.5 South Howard Street. Now that street is no longer there. It's now developed and everything. So I have no idea what kind of building that was. I'm assuming it was maybe like a two-place house. And then in 1911, he shows up as a clerk for Goodrich. Sometime around 1915 is the year that he marries my grandmother, Zola Mae Busby, and he moves his job over to Goodyear, where he's clerking now at Goodyear. We come now to 1917, and it's a very busy year for my grandfather. My mother is born, the first of 7 children. He moves to the 6th address in Akron in 8 years, and he also registers for the draft for World War I with my 7-week-old mom at home. But fortunately, he fails the eyesight test, and he's rejected. So over the course of the next 3 years, he moves twice more. A son is born, and in 1921, he moves to Portage County, where the 1940 census shows him living, probably in Randolph with 6 children and his father. By this time, my mom has my oldest sister, and so they're living on their own. And finally, in 1950, the year that I was born, he's living in Atwater, where my aunt, 4 uncles, and my grandfather's uncle have 6 adjoining properties all along the same street in Atwater, State Route 224. This is now the period of his life that I remember. His household now consists of him, his wife, my great-grandmother, and a lot of farm animals. His wife is running a small cafe in their house, which soon moves across the street, consisting of 2 dining cars connected with a kitchen and a serving area built between. This is on the corner of State Routes 224 and 225, and the name of this little restaurant is Kay's Corners, where she runs it for a number of years. Now, he passes away in 1986, which is around the time I inherit the watch. Usually, heirloom pieces are passed to the oldest son. In the 14 generations of my direct Frank's descendants, she is the only female. Hence, my last name is not Frank's. She has 5 brothers, and I'm the second son, so the guessing begins. The watch was manufactured in 1897. At that time, Grandpa's 7 years old, so he probably didn't buy that new, unless it was at a jeweler's for a long time and it hadn't been sold. When he starts working in Akron, he's 20 years old, maybe a little bit younger, and the watch is 15 years old. So if he didn't buy it new, did his father give it to him? His older brother give it to him? Did he buy it at a pawn shop? Maybe he bought it from someone going off to fight in World War I. I'll probably never know that. My only guess why my mom had it and none of her brothers is that my grandfather passed and she was being the oldest child, she got the first choice. And then when my mom passed it on to me, 2 things that I can think of why she gave it to me and neither of my 2 brothers or 5 sisters. Number 1, my older brother was living a nomad's life in Key West, Florida, and I was the only child out of those 8 that showed any interest in family history and genealogy. So I guess she thought I would take the best care of it. Lucky me.